Welcome to the Fireside Chat for Fitness and Nutrition with Adrienne and Ken. Today we're going to be talking about how long it takes to see results from both fitness and our dietary changes. Ken, would you like to start us off?
Adrienne, I would, yes. So when I first see clients, especially the younger clients in 20s, 30s, 40s, even in the 40s, they ask, how long will it take before I start to see results as far as maybe some muscle mass or some toneness in my muscles? How long will it take? And the answer depends on a couple of things. If you've never exercised before and you're starting out from scratch, from zero, the first 3 months, you're going to see fantastic results. You're going to be great results. So you can gain, a man could gain 5-6 pounds, maybe 7 pounds of muscle in the first 3 months. After that, it tapers off. Just because the muscles, it's totally something new, and your muscles have to respond to it, and they're like going, "What the heck? We better get whipped into shape here." So, but the first 3 months are fantastic. So basically, you'll start to see results between 6 to 8 weeks. You'll see noticeable results. There is this is a good example of exercise and results. A guy was saying this, and he's some motivational speaker, and he said, you go to the gym and you work out. Then that night you don't see any results. You go to the gym the next day and you don't see any results. And you go 5 days in a row, you don't see results. And then 2 weeks, no results. 3 weeks, no results. 4 weeks, you start to see results. So it's a cumulative effect. It has to be consistent. Like I always preach, you have to be consistent on what you do, but you're not going to see results right away. You're not going to see the muscle toneness for a little bit. Now I'm talking about muscle toneness that you can see if you don't have any body fat over the top of your, because body fat, you can get all the muscle tone that you want, but no one will ever see it if you have body fat over the top. And I believe Adrienne's going to talk about how long it takes to lose weight, in eating, so forth, and we see results with that. But as far as muscle mass goes, the first 3 months are the quickest. 3 to 6 months, you can gain some weight. After 6 months, the weight comes on more slowly. The body gets used to it. You have to change your routines more often. But basically, you'll start to see results after 4, 6 to 8 weeks or so, and then the first 3 months, fantastic. As far as flexibility, I want to tell you another story. I had a client who was a former Rockette, and she told me this story. She was 69 at the time I saw her, but when she tried out for the Rockettes, she was 18, and she went and she tried out, and she could not do that they like to do the splits where the knee touches the nose almost, and she couldn't do that. She could only get up to waist height, I think, and so she went to a coach where she stretched every day for an hour, and he stretched her every day for an hour, and in a month she could do the splits. So you might not be able to do that, but you'll see good results within a month if you do flexibility every day. Flexibility is an everyday thing. Strength training is an every other day thing, 2 to 3 times a week, but flexibility is every day. So if you do flexibility and you focus on it, say for instance you wanted to do the splits, let's just say, or you want to do something else. I don't know what you want to do, but work on the flexibility every day. You'll see good results within 3 to 4 weeks of starting your flexibility training. Aerobic activity, you can see aerobic activity, depending, and again, these things depend on your age, if you're male or female, if you're kind of in shape, if you're not in shape, as far as aerobic activity goes. You can start to see results. Let's say, for instance, the results would be how far you can go. So an example would be if you can go around the block. Say, for instance, you jog one day and you can jog 100 yards. Well, the next day you could probably increase that to maybe 200 yards, then maybe 500 yards, then maybe a quarter of a mile. So it's or half a mile. So you'll see incremental increases in the time and the amount and the volume of things that you can do, but you have to be consistent. Aerobic activity is a 5 to 6 day a week event, and it needs to be on a consistent basis. But you can see results within 3 to 4 weeks of aerobic activity, and that is your cardiovascular, your body's ability to do things. again, weight loss, that Adrienne's going to cover that. And it doesn't matter how much aerobic activity you do, unless you're an ultra marathoner. But you can't out exercise a bad diet. So you can do as much aerobic activity as you want, and eat a couple of cookies and offset those calories that you just burned. But aerobically, your ability to go up the stairs without getting out of breath, within 4 to 6 weeks, that should be pretty much solved if you're not 100 pounds overweight. So it's kind of subjective in a way, but let's just say, for instance, you're normal weight and you haven't really ever exercised, and you start doing aerobic activity. Within 4 to 6 weeks, if you're going up the stairs was tough, huffing and puffing, within 4 weeks for sure, going up the stairs should be a piece of cake. And that's with 4 to 5 times, sometimes 6 times a week of aerobic activity. And aerobic, I mean jogging or biking or swimming, something that increases your heart rate and works the muscles of the lower body, the hips and the buttocks, is done for a time. True aerobics basically is at least 20 minutes. Has to work the muscles of the lower body, and you have to be breathing relatively hard. So it'd be like you can talk but not sing. That would be the equivalent of aerobic activity. You can talk but not sing. So that's how hard you have to be breathing. So anyway, I covered stretching, muscle gain, and aerobic. Did I miss anything? Do you have any questions, Adrienne?
No, I liked what you said about flexibility being an everyday thing, though, because I feel like a lot of us can get into it. Strength training, and then most of the time people seem to ignore flexibility. They're like, I did my cardio, or I did CrossFit, or whatever, and they're like, I don't do that ridiculous, like useless flexibility training. Like, no, it's actually so important, and it should be done every day. And that's a good reminder. I'll probably do some yoga later today, so thanks.
Good. Glad I could be of service.
Yeah, and then how long does it take to see results with dietary changes? Well, the answer definitely depends on the type of change that you're making and the specific results that you're looking for. And as a registered dietitian nutritionist, I'm going to guide you through what to expect when you start modifying your diet. Now, for immediate results, you're going to see this if you have any sort of food allergies. Because if you do have a food allergy that triggers an allergic reaction, you're going to notice relief by avoiding it within hours. So symptoms like itching, sometimes people get itchy around their mouth, or they'll get a rash around their mouth, they get hives, sometimes swelling, gastrointestinal distress. All of this can subside much more quickly once the allergen is removed from your diet. So this is really crucial to identify and avoid, because repeated exposure to allergens can lead to more severe reactions, including anaphylaxis. So that is one key part. Now, in terms of short-term results, you're going to see this more in your skin and any sort of food sensitivities and how those show up for you. So while food intolerances and food sensitivities are less severe than allergies, they can still impact your well-being. And this can be you might see reactions that are not immediate, but can appear within a few days to a week after removing the offending food from your diet. Some common symptoms include bloating, gas, diarrhea, headaches, skin issues like acne or eczema. Sometimes people will ask oh, why am I breaking out? I've eaten perfectly for, since Tuesday and it's Wednesday. Well, it could be something that you had 3 days ago. So an example here would be, if you are sensitive to dairy, you might start noticing improvements in your digestive health and your skin within a week or 2 of cutting it out. That was definitely the case for one of my clients who would have breakouts, and she was like, but I just use a little bit of dairy. And I was like, well, maybe just try a non-dairy creamer in your coffee or whatever. And then she's like, yep, my nutritionist told me no other esthetician or dermatologist could, get rid of dairy and my skin cleared up. It is a little bit of a detective game, though, to pinpoint these specific sensitivities. So patience, keeping a food diary, observing, and potential food sensitivity testing are also key. Now, in terms of midterm or medium-term results, this is going to be your energy levels. This can usually take a little bit longer to manifest, about 2 to 3 weeks. And when you start to improve your diet by incorporating more whole foods and more balanced and macronutrients, having more water, your body does start to function more efficiently. And what this might look like is that you aren't hitting the afternoon slump as hard. You don't feel like you could fall asleep at your desk. Your overall stamina improves, whether that's just picking up groceries and bringing them into the house, or like Ken mentioned, going up and down the stairs. It starts to improve. You also just might feel more alert during the day. And of course, everybody's body responds differently. And if you are still not sleeping well, don't expect your energy to get a whole lot better. So pay attention to all of that as well. In terms of weight loss, that is definitely one of the longer term results. And it's one of the most common goals that people have when changing their diet, but it does take a while to notice. So generally, you can expect to see some initial weight loss within the first few weeks. This will generally be due to water weight and initial reductions in caloric intake, but sustainable fat loss, which is more important, becomes noticeable about 4 to 6 weeks, so about a month and a half of consistent healthy eating and exercise. It's also important to realize that gradual steady weight loss of about 1 to 2 pounds per week is considered healthy and sustainable. Trying to lose a bunch of weight before a wedding in a week, not really good idea, because that rapid weight loss can lead to muscle loss, nutrient deficiencies, and is often not maintained in the long run. So kind of like the yo-yo dieting. So also just remember that weight is one measure of health, and improvements in your energy, your mood, and your overall well-being are equally significant indicators of your progress. But those are just to give you some ideas. Now, some factors that will influence your results. Ken started talking about some of these too. It depends on what your starting point is. If you've never worked out before, it's going to take a little bit longer sometimes to see results. Someone transitioning from a highly processed diet to a whole foods-based diet might see faster and more noticeable changes than someone who already has a generally healthy diet and is just tweaking some things. So don't be discouraged. Just know that that's usually the case, right? Consistency. That sticking to your dietary changes consistently is crucial, because if you are inconsistently sticking with the diet or maybe having some foods that you're allergic to, that's going to delay or diminish the results that you're looking for. And then other things, individual differences. Our genes separate us all because they're all different. Our metabolisms, our age, our lifestyle factors, all of this contributes to how quickly you're going to see results. Everybody's body is different. So it's essential to be patient and learn learn your body's signals, but also how your body responds to certain things like exercise or certain foods too. And as I mentioned before, it's diet is a significant factor, but it's part of a broader picture that includes sleeping well, stress management, and overall lifestyle. All of these combined with dietary changes are going to help you yield the best results. And remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So the journey to better health really does take a lot of small victories and compounding over time in order for us to really take off. Yeah, any questions that you have, Ken?
No questions, but a comment. I like what you said about keeping a food diary, so that you can figure out, what is it that's causing you to be, not feel so good or feel good. And I did not know that it could happen 2 or 3 days later after you eat something. I thought it was pretty immediate, so that was interesting. But other than that, no, it's great.
And I think that will help people a lot. I know people can be resistant to this idea because they feel like it's, a food police document. It is not. But if you are having some of those like delayed reactions, like your skin or eczema, psoriasis, acne, all of that kind of stuff, it does help take the guesswork out, because you'll just be thinking about, what did I eat yesterday? And most of us can't remember what we even ate yesterday at all. So that's where the diary can help too. Yeah. Any parting comments, Ken?
Consistency, and consistent stretching, consistent strength training, consistent aerobics. You'll see great results. You'll feel better, look better, be a better you. So what about you, Adrienne?
I'm going to say patience will be key here. Just, a lot of times when we embark upon our wellness journey, whether that's with fitness and nutrition or both, ideally, we have these grandiose ideas. We go all in for the first day and then we fall off the wagon. So just be patient with the results and take some time to plan everything out. And then, like Ken said, just be consistent with it. And we would love to know in the comments if you have any tips that have worked for you to lose weight, or if you've had food allergies or food sensitivities and how you figured those out. how you've been able to incorporate fitness into your life and maybe results that you've seen, and also any topics that you'd like us to cover that we haven't already. Please like, subscribe so you get the newest content from us. And if you like the work that we're putting out, please consider supporting this channel through the link below. And we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Bye.